When two people get married, I'm fairly certain that they don't start thinking, this is going to be great until we end this thing in a violent divorce that ultimately destroys those that are close to us. At least, I hope that's not what people think. I hope people think about the things Sarah and I did when we got married. We had plans. Most of our plans, I suppose, weren't all that original. Dog, house, family, jobs, horrible pictures in front of Christmas trees, the annoying brother that teaches your kids the naughty things in life. You know, normal stuff. I like to think we had some originality. Sarah was going to attend law school in Virginia, while I busted my chops teaching high school to the mountain folk. Once finished, we would move back to Minneapolis and begin our family and professional lives as real adults. Our first couple of years were great. We had the dog, rented a house, I was teaching, and Sarah was doing law school. The future was ahead of us, and we had all the power in the world to bend it to our liking. What we didn't plan on was cancer. What I didn't plan on was being a widower at 27 years old. Like many marriages these days, ours didn't make it quite 4 years, but it did not end in divorce. It ended because death did us part. One of the scariest things, I've decided, is having your path taken from you. I went from a happily married 20-something with a dog to a rather sad single man with a dog. What would I do now that I was alone? Friends helped fill the time for a while. I was eventually, politely, cast off from most outings because my friends were all happily married 20-somethings with dogs. I was admittedly hurt by this passive-aggressive way of avoiding my feelings, but I couldn't really blame them. At that point in time, I had more in common with my widowed grandfather than I did with any of them. I became a reminder of the inevitable. One day, they would be alone. Who wants to think about that? I certainly didn't. At least my dog was always happy to see me. After a while, I realized that I was truly lost. I needed direction badly, but I didn't know how to find it or deal with not having any. A few options came to mind. I could drink. Heavily. It seems to work in the movies, but no. I could take up a high-risk hobby, like base jumping, and have my midlife crisis a bit early. Nah. The startup cost alone would kill me. Maybe, I thought, I could become a hermit that just holes up in his house for days on end, leaving only to buy Twizzlers and combos. In the end, I went with a second job. I spent the next year or so teaching full-time and working in the evenings. Awesome, right? Tons of money? Wrong. In my effort to avoid my sorrow, I left little time to do much of anything else. Without trying, I nearly became the hermit I so sarcastically described earlier. I think I first realized this when I drank a protein shake from the night job so I wouldn't have to go to the grocery store on the way home to get food for supper. Ultimately, I had to face the truth. I needed to make time to feel like total hell. Sounds fun, right? I had to let myself get depressed, angry, and pitiful. Just another Friday night. One thing that the advice givers like to avoid telling you is that you have to go through these icky things. I remember people telling me things like, you need to go out more. Why don't you try online dating? What about a nice singles mixer? And let's not forget my favorite. Dude, you'll feel better if you just go out and make out with someone. Really? Will I? Well, what the hell are we waiting for? Funny that none of these brilliant tidbits came from anyone with any real grief experience. So I ignored them. All of them. Especially Mr. Makeout. I got depressed, angry, pitiful. I stayed home on Friday nights, spent weekends entirely alone, walked my dog for hours on end, much to his liking, and even drank a little. Okay, sometimes a lot. It was horrible. I cried, I shut down, I avoided people. The thing is, this actually helped. I started to feel better, and ultimately came out of my shell. I started over, made new friends, found a new job. I bought a townhouse. I've been traveling a lot. I've been taking classes, and I'm getting ready to remodel my basement. I've even started dating again. I have to tell you, over the past couple of years, I've always worried that those close to me would feel I was forgetting Sarah by trying to pull my life together. As anyone can see when they visit my house, she's gone, but not forgotten. She was a fabulous photographer and artist, so I've decorated my home with a lot of her pieces, something she never let me do when she was still here because she saw that as bragging. It's going slow, but I am learning to look forward with hope for the first time in a while. I'm still really, really scared, but I can accept that. Someday, I will find my path. But until then, I've got a sledgehammer, some flooring, and a couple of plane tickets. Maybe I'll find a more concrete path tomorrow. If not, the dog always needs walking.